During the First World War, air combat was a brand new, advanced way of fighting. Balloons had been used in a few previous wars for surveillance, but the concept of planes shooting at each other and dropping bombs was a new, exciting, and terrifying concept.
When you think of fighter planes, you imagine two pilots alone in the sky, duking it out and shooting at each other with machine guns. The reality is, air fights were more like cavalry battles. Planes traveled in packs and fought together. The battles were not quick like cavalry ones, but they usually ended with all or most of the people from one of the sides dying. This type of fighting required young and courageous men to participate in it. Despite the most advanced aero technology, World War I pilots still lived incredibly short lives. The average lifespan of a pilot, once they joined the war, was not more than several weeks. Not all of these deaths came from combat. About half of the casualties suffered from airfare were from crashes, accidents, and training.
During the early stages of the war, pilots did not have parachutes because it was considered cowardly and people thought pilots would just jump out of the plane instead of landing it. Early parachutes were also very bulky and they didn't fit into the cockpit of most World War I planes. This caused many deaths, and they realized later in the war that it was easier to replace a plane than a trained, experienced ace.
Although air warfare didn't play a huge part in the war, it became the face of it. The media needed positive things to focus on, so they went to their heroic pilots. The best pilots were called aces. Aces were hailed as heroes at home and gained lots of fame and popularity. The best aces became the face of countries in the war. One of these such aces was Eddie Rickenbacker. Eddie Rickenbacker was one of America's top race car drivers before he decided to enlist in the military. He was immediately drafted into air service, where he became one of America's top pilots. Eddie Rickenbacker was notorious for taking down enemy balloons, which were the most protected targets. He survived the war with 26 air victories, the American record up until World War II.
On the other side of the spectrum was Manfred von Richthofen, more commonly known as the Red Baron. He is Germany's top ace with over 80 confirmed air victories. Many argue that he is the best fighter pilot to ever live. At only 11 years old, he joined the military. Although he was the best ace, even he didn't manage to survive the war. He was shot down and killed after 2 years of service at age 26.
This was the first war in which planes and aircraft played an important role. It has had a lasting impact on the way we fight today. Without the introduction of air combat, wars would have played out very differently. The courageous aces who fought in World War I will be forever immortalized and remembered throughout history.